Hello and welcome to Demon Interviews episode 186. I'm your host, as always, Springy, and joining us today is our very special guest.
Lucas Hawk, or Shadow Wolves cosplay. So,
Woo!
nice to meet y'all. Boy, what an intro we had before this, right?
We started the call 10 minutes early. It's now 10 minutes past when we were supposed to start.
The tech 10 minutes, the technical 10 minutes.
Yes, the exactly. But first I want to ask, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, actually. I got a lot of stuff done yesterday, so today's pretty much one of my chill days.
Mm-hmm.
And be better if my wife wasn't working, but hey, what can you do? So I'm
Yeah.
just chilling, getting stuff done, and having this lovely interview. So.
Well, I am happy to hear that today is mainly a chill day, and then we are interrupting it horribly.
No, this was
Uh,
planned.
yes, it was a planned interruption. Um,
Yeah, what was on script page 5 again? No.
uh, the promo. Remember the promo thing? Yeah, the
Oh
$5 I
yeah, this
sent you.
is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh God, no promotion of anything as of right now. But so people can assume from either coming from your side of the internet, coming from our side of the internet, that you are in fact a cosplayer.
No, absolutely not. Yes, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Is there
I am
any?
actually.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna get the question's actually going to be: do you have any other new cosplays planned to do that you're able to tell us about without me giving you a small fee of $5?
Well, $5 is $5, but
True.
actually, I am actually wearing a hint as to my next big cosplay that I'm doing. I This came from a uh, YouTuber that I had a have and still do have a huge admiration for, and just they recently, about almost a year ago, passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am actually going to be doing a cosplay of Technoblade's Dream SMP character.
Ooh.
So I have a mask, I have a full outfit. All I think I have left is making a weapon, making a crown, and getting a wig and getting a cape. But other than that, we are about 80% done. And everyone's like, well, how can you be Technoblade? I'm like, believe me, I can, because at one convention, there were a bunch of Dream SMP players there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just turned to them like, L'Manberg was burned, and they all just started screaming. I'm like, yes, I can do this character.
uh.
So I have a lot of admiration for that young man, and he was one of those people that's like, I don't care who you are, I don't care, I don't judge you for anything. We play games, we have fun, and if I beat you, you're the loser. So,
Yeah.
but it was all in good fun, and he's deeply missed.
Yeah.
And so, kind of my way of showing my admiration towards that young man is to cosplay as his character. So,
Yeah. Awesome.
and as another project I'm working on, as you can see of the three helmets, or buckets as we call them sometimes, these are from my current active cosplays. One being my current newest Spartan, my oldest Spartan back there on the treadmill, and then my current Mandalorian helmet here, and then my new Mandalorian helmet here. This helmet actually has a lot behind it, because you've I'm sure some people in the audience know this group. Maybe you know them, the band Flogging Molly.
Mm-hmm.
Not Flogging Molly. Dropkick Murphy. Dropkick
Okay.
Murphy. They have a song called Rose Tattoo, and it's a song about a man's travels and the tattoos he acquires over the years and the meanings behind them. And this armor is going to be the kind of based from that song, in the sense of it's going to have a piece of aspects of my life, like something to represent my wife, my family,
Mm-hmm.
things I've done in my life, and all that other stuff. So it's kind of a big project in itself. The armor's built, it's just melding that armor to fit the pattern I want it to. So it's more becoming a customization project than anything. So,
Mm. I mean, that
so
makes
that
sense.
one holds a deep meaning to me as because when you're a cosplayer, there are two ways it can go.
Mm-hmm.
You're either seen as this weirdo that dresses up in costumes, and people sometimes like, uh, yeah, that's great, but let's keep the weird on your side and just stay normal around us. And like, okay. Or there's people
Yeah.
who I'm so lucky to have understanding family members and a very understanding wife who's a cosplayer herself,
Oh.
uh, and a good friend base that not only accept but encourage and inspire to keep doing it. And I have people at work that are like, so you go and dress up like comic book characters and stuff like that. I'm like, well, I haven't really touched comic book characters yet, but but I mean, I've had my boss ask me to visit his grandson on his birthday dressed up as a Mandalorian because kid's a huge Star Wars fan. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's an interesting conversation to have with people for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's also just fun to get involved in it because it used to be I'm not what you would say a like fully trained cosplayer in the sense of 90% of my stuff I'm buying stuff for it,
Mm-hmm.
and a little bit of it I'm doing the paint work, I'm helping build it, but I also have people that are helping me build it. So I'm more of that type of cosplayer than like Kamui or Jessica Nigri, who are hand stitching all their stuff and dyeing all their stuff. So, not saying that there's any type of level or degree. It's all about your skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And some people can sew, some
Yeah.
people can dye clothes, some people can tan leather. I can't. I can sew, I can do stuff like that, but I don't have the time.
Yeah.
So I have to work with what I've got. And I still consider myself, only recently I started considering myself a professional cosplayer,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because a entire classroom at a high school said you should be calling yourself a cosplayer. You shouldn't be calling yourself amateur or anything like that. I'm like, well, that's very nice of you, but okay.
Yeah.
But so you can be professional, but it doesn't mean that you have to be elbows deep in linens, sewing them together and stuff like that. It all depends how you carry yourself, how you act with people, and how you portray your characters and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I see a professional cosplayer. But I think I'm kind of spiraling off of your question here.
No, you're good. You're good. More power to you. I mean, it's still on topic. It's fine.
Yes, yes. If I do trail off topic, please do stop me, because I do tend to ramble. So,
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. We have time. Don't worry about it.
okay,
Not one bit. Uh,
okay.
Now I have to say the stereotypical YouTube thing of don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon. If you have any questions for our lovely guest here, put them in the comments section below. And you can find our lovely guest on all these in all the social media platforms. In words. Um,
Try to
you,
word.
trying to word is hard. You can find our lovely guest's social media platforms in the description below, or at least a way to get to all of them. And yeah, and if we ever get them back on the show in the same capacity, we'll ask.
I'm already hoping to
It
come back because the first 10 minutes of this was hilarious,
was
and
great.
I hope you make a blooper reel. He just screaming at the camera.
The thing is, we weren't recording that part though.
We should have.
We should have, but like, we actually do make YouTube
Should we
shorts.
tell him about that?
I mean, if you want to, I know recently, or by the time this comes out, I saw the schedule because I technically have an employee, uh, technically, who makes
Very
the
patient
YouTube
person.
a very who I pay, or in this
That
case
works too.
Willie. They're making the YouTube shorts for us, and I saw the
Okay.
schedule of like when they're posting them, and I'm gonna be asking you if we can do that with this, after the recording
Oh,
and everything.
sure.
Oh, perfect. Now I already have the recording evidence that you said it was fine.
Yeah, sure.
And we're gonna
I'm
be
pretty
posting.
easygoing when it comes to this stuff. So
Yeah. This is actually like very new for us too. So like we had to go through like 185 people. had to go re-message them again and ask if it was okay. Some said yes, some said no, some said meh. Uh, but yeah, and we've been going. She has been going through them all. She has watched all the episodes of the people who said yes, and all the episodes they've ever been in, or ever been. Yeah, yeah. I'll explain that a little bit better later on because I'll offer other projects to you as well.
Of course.
But because they have to watch their interview anytime they're in a character interview, anytime they're doing a media thing, and have to go watch all of them, make clips of for like a minute or two of them. And I also asked them, and I'll be asking you this question later on, for suggestions for who should be on the next in the future on the show in the future. So you can start thinking about that now. So they can go through and put them all in a Google Doc, and I can just copy paste them into Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and find more people. So, but by the time my point is, by the time this comes out, the YouTube Shorts should have the first few episodes out because when we're recording this is May 21st. It comes out on June 21st, and according to the schedule, hopefully, according to the schedule that she sent me, the first one should be coming out on June 5th. Yeah. So, yeah, those should be coming out and all that fun stuff. In case people don't know what YouTube Shorts are, YouTube Shorts is YouTube's version of TikTok. They're trying to compete with TikTok. That's basically what they're doing. In a nutshell.
Those are delightful sometimes, though.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite YouTube Shorts right now is, I'm not sure if you've seen this trend growing up, but that they've been doing a lot of stuff with that Sweet Sweet Bumblebee song.
Oh, yeah.
And they did it with the Isekai truck from every Isekai.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so it's like Truck-kun has joined the trend, and I'm like, yes! So it's pretty funny to see a rhythmic truck crash through that song.
That's great.
Don't play in the street, kids. It's not going to take you to a fantasy realm. It'll take you somewhere, but it's not going to take you where you want it to take you. So,
yeah.
Just saying. Don't play in the street, kids. As much as anime makes us wish it could happen, it's not going to happen.
It should just be like a note just saying like anything you see in anime is not real. It does not. It's not going to happen for you.
Though I am a person that does believe that if you can prove to me it works, I'll believe it.
Yeah.
Please don't try to prove this to me, because I don't really want to be responsible for this.
Oh God.
Unless you have a way of coming back
without a hospital.
Don't do it, because I don't want people coming into my Instagram or my Facebook going, "You killed my kid because they wanted to prove a point." I'm like,
they wanted to prove a point.
Prove your own point, but you're not a good parent.
Yeah, God. But brain. Something I want to touch on about people finding out about the cosplay stuff. I actually had, because my job is I watch elementary school kids for the recess.
Wait, what?
I'm going to explain that. And
okay,
some of the
kids
found, like, I'm the recess monitor for my local elementary school.
Okay.
I'm not just a weird creepo, I promise. I'm a weirdo, but not in that way.
Well, we're all weirdos, and we gotta stick together. Anyway.
Exactly. But the weirdest thing was some of the kids who I watched found my TikTok stuff with my cosplays on it. And I'm like, great.
You're famous now.
They already called me Ed Sheeran. And I'm like, great, now you're also...
I can see it too. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
They call me Ed Sheeran. Sometimes some people call me like one of the Weasleys. Just like I'm a part of their family. It just I was never on screen.
Oh yeah, you're that cousin twice removed. That,
exactly.
Instead of going and dealing with dragons, it deals with sea slugs or something.
Yeah, exactly. Around here would be banana slugs.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, those are. But and one person also said I look like Star-Lord. I'm like, I don't I believe the other two. That one is like
I could see it. I could
I
see
feel like you're pushing it, but like okay.
Well,
I
I
can
mean, if you look at the comic books, it looks a little bit more like, yeah, I can see
I can
it.
see it.
I can see it.
I get that.
Yeah, I can see
But
it.
but to carrying on with the questions,
Yes.
being the next question is very long, very lengthy, very complicated. It's coming from a past guest, a Mr. Zoom underscore 2028. Bacon question mark.
I love the play up.
Yep.
Very complicated, very long question. Bacon question mark. Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
And it better be bacon because I do not trust turkey bacon or tofu bacon
Yeah.
or any other type of bacon. It
I
has to be. There are only two types of bacon in my mind, and one technically, people can argue with me if they want. It's bacon.
yeah. In my
Big bacon
opinion, like
and
dairy-free
brisket.
cheese. Dairy-free cheese is not cheese. It's something they
No.
concocted in a lab.
Yes.
That scares me. That's the thing I don't trust. It's like, how is this cheese dairy-free? Explain. And how
How
is
is
it
it
still
cheese?
technically cheese?
How is it cheese?
Uh,
But yeah, but to me, bacon is what you get from a pig,
mm-hmm.
and then there is what I call beef bacon, which is brisket,
Oh.
which is if you look at brisket, it looks like bacon.
Yeah, I mean,
When you have it cut out straight.
no problem to it.
Look it up, kids. Barbecuing is a good thing. I'm not that good at it myself, but I'll tell you, brisket is an amazing food and big in the Midwest. If you can count me as Midwest, I'm Missouri, so yeah. Anyway,
so the next question, even longer and more complicated than the last one, came from the same past guest. Peanut butter question mark.
I love peanut butter. Peanut butter's great. I prefer smooth, creamy peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
I can handle crunchy, even though it's kind of a texture thing with me. But
Yeah.
hey, no big deal. And then I like peanuts. Peanuts are great.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's more, even though they're not really a nut, they're more of a legume. But we're not here to talk about what a peanut is. But anyway, yeah, I like peanut butter. Peanut butter's good.
Perfect. Well, the next question is kind of just mixing the two together, being bacon and peanut butter question mark in like one meal.
I've heard of this. Because I think they said Elvis Presley liked peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwiches.
Was it?
And I thought it was peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Me too.
But then I'm a huge fan of Achievement Hunter, and before a whole lot of stuff happened with them, they had this. Everything's been solved and they've been recovering from it, and I think they're stronger for what they did.
Well, yeah.
But they did Achievement Hunter, and two of them are sitting on stage. I think it was Jeremy Dooley and Jack Patillo.
Mm-hmm.
We're both sitting on stage, like, let's get into the spirit of this. Here's a sandwich for you. And he's like, what's this? He's like, peanut butter, bacon, and banana sandwich. And I'm like, oh, he's like, so this is what Elvis said. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, there's bacon? I thought it was peanut butter and banana sandwich.
I thought that whole time too.
Yeah, so my mind was, it's a curiosity that it would be one of those times like today where my wife isn't home, where I would do it and then hope that I either like it and then I talk about it with her, or I hate it and try to destroy every bit of evidence that even happened in my life. And then she comes home like, what were you doing today? I'm like, nothing. I learned something, and I'm glad that you don't know what I learned.
Because we always ask that question. So I think it's been a year now since I've tried it. I actually did try bacon and peanut butter, doing like ants on a log type of thing, but with bacon, and it wasn't that bad. It mainly just tasted like whichever one you had more of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think I could do it in like maybe a sandwich form, but I'm not sure if I would do it like complete like sandwich, or if I had to do hot dog sandwich, like take a hot
like
dog
half or full,
butter, and then or just do kind of like a poor boy's half sandwich, which is take a slice of bread and fold it in half and as we call a torpedo sandwich, which is pretty much like I don't have time to make a whole sandwich. I'm just going to put everything on one side of bread, fold it in half, and boom, gone.
Go.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's efficient, folks.
Um. So we kind of already touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to ask you, who is your biggest cosplay inspiration or inspirations if you have multiple?
Oh, I have several. I there aren't a whole lot of noted like super out there unless I'm completely in a hole of male cosplayers out there.
Yeah.
But there are the first cosplay thing I ever saw was back in high school. Yeah, there we go. Uh, for the record, viewers, I'm 35 years old, so this was a while back. Um, and I saw this group called Nightmare Armor, and they were the guys who did the first Halo suits,
Hmm.
like the for like promotions and stuff like that. And they were hard plastic, beautiful suits. And I even looked into when I was in college. I looked into trying to buy one from them. It's about $2,000 a suit, and that was like a base price, not fitted suit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like that. I'm like that's not that bad, but never went in on it.
Yeah.
Um, and then as I started getting into cosplay, um, I knew about Kamui. I knew about Jessica Nigri,
Mm-hmm.
and they were I number one Jessica Nigri I knew about also through a show called Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
She plays one of the main villains in it, and she is. I'm going to tell you, folks, she is a delightful person. Um, a lot of people like to judge people by the material they put out. Um, I I'd say for me, in my opinion, she doesn't put out anything bad.
Mm-hmm.
Her, but if you are more of a conservative minded person, you're probably going to be throwing a Bible at me or something. I don't know,
Huh.
but yeah, those books hurt. Um, that's why the Gideons make the small ones. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like they're smaller and like, hey, you didn't pick up your Bible. Take this. But anyway, we're not gonna go into that.
That's a whole
Um,
other topic for not
that's
today.
a whole other topic, and I don't want you to get banned or canceled. So yeah.
Oh, people have already
Anyway,
tried doing that once. It didn't work.
well, good luck, folks. But anyway, uh, but then after that, I tried to get into the 501st, which is a Star Wars group that
Mm-hmm.
do all the stormtroopers and stuff like that. Well, I really wanted to make Mandalorian armor, as you can see.
Yeah.
Uh, I contacted the garrison in Anaheim, California,
Mm.
to figure out what I could do if there was a group near me, if I could learn how to do this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The group in Anaheim, and let me say this now, folks. I'm going to tell you, do not take anything I say as a reality, as in everyone's like this. There are
Mm-hmm.
several garrisons of the 501st, several different outlooks, several different mindsets. So most of them that I have encountered are very welcoming, very helpful, very nice people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the people in Anaheim, at the time I was about 18, so and I was wanting to learn. And I'm like, oh, here comes this plucky young kid of 18 wanting to learn how to do this. They'll definitely be up for helping someone out. I get this long list of rhetoric saying you need your own plastics foundry, you need to know how to mold plastics, you need a vacuum form, you need this, you need this, you need this. And also you need to know someone who's in the 501st. They need to know someone who's at least in the admittance staff of the 501st. You need to know. I'm like, whoa!
This is
How
a.
do you get people to join this? And so I kind of gave up on that. And then down the road, my sister had started taking me to conventions and stuff because she needed a travel buddy, and I am a nerd, so
Yeah.
I kept going. And I see all these cosplayers. I'm like, this is what I've always wanted to do. I've wanted to do this kind of stuff. How do I do it? And then at Christmas, she bought me this beautiful coat that was inspired by Assassin's Creed. It
Mm-hmm.
has a sideways zipper. It has It has this very militant look to it, and I was like, "This is great." So I made like modern assassin build off of it.
Hmm.
Uh, and it was really awesome. You could actually see my first hidden blade tucked up in the corner there.
Oh, I see it.
Right there, yeah. That one doesn't have a lock on it. All the other ones I have locks on the wrist to keep the blade from misfiring. That one don't. So in my first cosplay, I almost I'm not sure if anyone knows the name of this guy, but they probably should if they watched The Flash or Spartacus. His name is Liam McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
He is a huge Assassin's Creed fan, and he's like, "Is that a hidden blade?" I'm like, "It's actually a phantom blade from the French Assassin's Creed." He's like, "Can I look at it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I put it. He put his hand on it. It fired, and it was like an inch away from his face. He's like, "That is awesome." I'm like, "You almost stabbed yourself in the face." He's like, "It'd be worth it. It'd be worth it." I'm like, "What is wrong with you?" But that's when I'm like, if I could get a celebrity to be that hyped up by something I was wearing, maybe I could do more. So then I started improving on the Assassin's Creed build. I bought a very long coat that you can get them online, but I know that I'm going to mention a few things. Wish had them for like $40, and of
Wish
course
have
they're
for
shipping
40. Jeez, how much are they normally?
about 60.
Oh,
So it was
geez,
$20 off. And the thing is that I was like, okay, it's cheap, but they say it's going to take a while because it's coming from China.
yeah.
And then they're like, oh, by the way, it's in Chinese size. I'm like, great.
Gotta do
How am
that
I supposed to
conversion,
do
right?
that? So I looked it up. They're like, well, in a Chinese extra large, you would be a triple X. I'm like, oh, great. That's really building my self-esteem. So I get it, fits perfectly, and it was one of my favorite coats ever. I still have it to this day. I usually only do the assassin now for like Rin fairs, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll come back every once in a while. It depends on the
Yeah.
mood. My wife loves her. She got a leather assassin pirate coat, and she then's like, I can use it for an assassin, and I can also use it for. She loves Pokemon. She has a Vaporeon Pokemon trainer, and so
Ooh.
that's her personal favorite. She loves doing so. But for me, after that, I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then when I was at my first like super big, not my first cosplay convention in the sense of me fully dressed up, going there to cosplay,
Mm-hmm.
was a there was a group of people dressed up in Assassin's Creed stuff, and we all got a huge picture. One guy walked up to me, super friendly, super enthusiastic. He's like, "It's so cool to see other Assassin's Creed cosplayers here." I'm like, "Yeah, it is. It's really neat."
Mm-hmm.
And then everything went on as it did, and we ended up calling in on that. And then I saw a picture circulating around that had all of the Assassin's Creed people, and I'm like, well, that's neat, but it was really grainy and kind of. I'm like, I then typed in the comments like, "Hey, I'm the blue assassin in this one. Does anyone have a better picture of this? I'd really like it." And then the guy who I had met came up to me and he's like, "Hey, I don't just do Assassin's Creed stuff. I also do Halo armor. Would you be interested?" I'm like, "Well, I'm a huge Halo fan." He's like, "Come to my house. We're having this party, and I'll show you what I do." I'm like, "Okay." Goes in there, and he has a suit sitting in there made out of EVA foam. I didn't even
Ooh.
know people worked in EVA foam. EVA foam is, if you've ever been to a gym or a kids play place or anything else, it's the squishy puzzle piece foam stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I. Some people even use it as soundproofing. Um, it's interesting stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but so he puts me in this rig, and for all you people out there who don't know what it is, you can look this up. The name of the armor type was called Gungnir, which is spelled, I believe, for Halo was Gungir.
Mm-hmm.
That was the type of armor. If not, I spelled it close enough that you'll be able to find it. The helmet on this thing is pretty much like a bread box on the front of a helmet like this. So it has this back here, but it shoots off in this big like rectangle, and
Mm-hmm.
then your visual sight is about the size of a door peephole.
Oh god.
So that's the visor. And people have made this helmet now, and they're putting old phones in there and little micro cameras and stuff so that they can utilize it. But this was way before that stuff was happening.
Yeah.
So he's like, what would you think about having a suit like this? And then I look at him like, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't make a lot of money, and it's going to come down to what the price is going to be. It's like, you ain't going to pay me nothing. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, and this is where it got funny because he goes, I just need you. And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, I need your body. And I'm like, excuse me?
That's not making your case any better.
He's like, I need someone to demo this stuff and be able to show this stuff. I pretty much need you as a billboard. I'm like, okay, I can do that. He's like, you're pretty much a test dummy / billboard / model. And I'm like, hey, I've done 3 great things in my life, and all I had to do is say yes. Awesome. So, and I get a free suit out of it. And of course, he has other parameters like you have to take care of your suit. You have to bring it in when I tell you to bring it in. You have to bring it in for maintenance. You have to make sure that it's not stowed wrong. So, and this is a very strict guy. He has had people not take care of their suits, and he's gone over and seen their suits not being taken care of, and he said, nope, it's coming with me, takes the suit back with him. Yeah. And it sits in the basement. And he's like, I'm either going to repair it or I'm going to scrap it and use the stuff for new parts. And so he's a brilliant young man. He's 2 years younger than me, but he's a genius when it comes to this kind of stuff. And then a few years later, because he actually built my first Halo suit for my wedding proposal. Oh. And so that was a delight. And I never heard the end of it because he hated that model of suit I picked because I picked the Halo 4 Master Chief armor, and he hates the chest piece on that. He's like, I hate your chest piece. I hate your chest piece. I hate your chest piece. Every time I bring it up, he's like, I hated that chest piece. So, and so we ended up redoing it to my new model here, which is the Infinity Chief, which is Master Chief's new armor. New, old. Yeah. But so that ended up being that. But before that one happened, the Mandalorian comes out on Star Wars, and he's talked to me about Star Wars, and I told him about my situation with Anaheim.
Yeah.
And I told you, I'm like, I don't want to be part of the 501st. I don't want to be part of people that are that uptight and that unwilling to be helpful.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm part of another group called the Mandalorian Mercs. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, they're kind of a subshoot of the 501st. I'm like, well, you've lost me there. He's like, just come over and let me explain something. And I'm like, okay. So I come over. We all watch an episode or two of Mandalorian. And he's like, so who's in on making this? I'm like, I'll make a suit. He's like, okay. And then he's like, well, then we'll also get you set up with an account on the Mando Merc site, and then we'll get you approved. I'm like, no. I'm not talking about getting approved or anything. No. I just want to make a suit.
Yeah.
He's like, and then gradually, over time, like a ocean against a wall,
yeah,
he wore me down, and now this suit is going to be part of the suit that I use to qualify to be in the Mandalorian Mercs. And so that is something I'm working towards as well, is the Mando Mercs. So, and that one is because he's told me, he's like, we don't have a hierarchy. We have a hierarchy, but it's not like the 501st. And even then, he kept saying, our 501st isn't like Anaheim's. Anaheim's is a bunch of old guard. And again, anyone listening to this who's going to end up going and yelling at Anaheim, I'm going to tell you right now, this is all speculation from what I remember when I was 18 years old.
Yep.
They could have changed by now. I held on to this for a while.
Yeah, I feel it.
Because I haven't gone and researched them now, doesn't mean that they're still like this. They could have changed. So let's not start a war with Anaheim 501st, because for all I know, they're decent people now.
Yeah.
But I have met people from the 501st here in St. Louis. Oh, yeah, well, now you know where I'm at. and they are very nice people. They are very genuinely good people. They help each other out. They hold armor making parties. They will assist people in making stormtrooper armor. I'm currently working with them to make a clone commando. That's another one. That's another one. Actually, hang on. uh, okay. Yeah, this big bugger. So that's clone commando. So
Nice.
future possible. Dang, that one's heavy. But anyway, so he calls me up one day. He goes, "Hey, would you be interested in a clone commando outfit?" I'm like, "How much?" Because I'm like, I know these aren't free.
Yeah.
These suits are never free. He's like, well, we're looking at about $1,000. And I'm like, nope, 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 nope. He goes, well, what if I went in half on it? I'm like, half? You mean $500 from your pocket and $500 from mine? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I think I can manage that.
Yeah.
I have to talk to my wife first before I throw out $500. But yeah, sure. So that is kind of, and then of course, through all this, I'm a huge Ruby fan as well.
Yeah.
And one character I completely connected with, save for, hey, John Arc.
Yeah.
So I completely connected to, besides Yang Xiaolong, was Crow Bronwyn.
Mm-hmm.
And because there are so many things Crow does that I do naturally,
Mm-hmm.
and no, not drinking. I do drink, but I don't drink like that. But my mannerisms, my voice sometimes gets, I can actually register to his voice level, and just how he is, how sarcastic he is, and how he reacts in some situations. Just like I have to do this. So I have Crow Bronwyn in my cosplay list.
Mm-hmm.
I have his original and his second outfit. Um, Everyone kept saying, "Oh, he's gonna have a third outfit. He's gonna have a third outfit." Then the new season came up. Didn't see Crow at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did you tempt me? You jerks!
Yeah.
Like he doesn't really need another one, but hey.
I
But
mean,
yeah, it's but that one's fun because I've actually walked around a convention hall staggering and stuff like that, looking like I was drunk, and I actually had a security guard come over. He's like, "Sir, are you okay?" And I immediately snapped up straight, and I'm like, "Yes, I'm perfectly fine." He's like, "You sure?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm completely fine. It's completely an act. I'm sorry that I bothered you if I did." And he's like, "Well, may want to try to act a bit more sober if you could, because you're very convincing." I'm like, thank you. So, nothing like telling a security officer, thanks for telling me that I look like I'm drunk. It says I'm going for that. And then I walk around with a flask. I actually have Crow's flask, and I fill it with water. But I've had people come up to me, go, "Hey, hey, hey! You can't be doing that." And I'm like, "It's water. It's really water." And they're like, "You can't prove that." I'm like, "Yes, I can. Here, take a drink." And they're like, "No." I'm like, "It's water." And then I'm like, so then they're like, I'm like, you either believe me it's water, or you go get security, and then we have a security guard drink from my flask to prove that it's water.
yeah.
And he's like, and usually that ends with like, whatever. So then they walk away. And then I've never been called on it. No one's ever called security on me saying I'm drunk. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
I did get to meet 3 of the Ruby girls as Crow. It was a ton of fun, and I will say they are a delight to meet. I really wish Lindsay Jones had been there, because all 4 of them were supposed to be there, but unfortunately, her with the kid and all that,
Yeah.
and COVID issues and all that stuff, she couldn't travel. So
Yeah. That makes sense.
that was kind of a bummer. But hey, maybe next time. But
Yeah.
she's the last one I need to get an autograph from. So because but yeah, that's what's really inspired me to do all my cosplay, is just the people I've met,
Yeah.
and uh just some really neat stuff I want to do. And with Technoblade, um I tell you, I was and it's I mean, it's 2022, 2023 now. uh, I hit a low point. I
Mm-hmm.
was I was a bummed out guy who like I couldn't really. I was kind of just like getting into that whole adult mode where it's just like, yeah, well, it's gonna be work, go home, sleep, make food, go home, sleep,
Yeah.
make and I'm like, oh, this is just kind of boring. And then I was listening to some music,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna drop a person here because I love their music. Her name's Cami Cat. She makes all these beautiful musical numbers, and she did a remake of a song called Techno's Battle Song, which is called "Woe to the People of Order."
Mm-hmm.
When I heard that song and saw what it was dedicated to, I'm like, who in the world is Technoblade?
Mm-hmm.
So I went and I looked him up. And I started listening to his stuff, and he is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
He does the most dry deliveries, and he's got this dark sense of humor like most of us do.
Mm-hmm.
And let's come on, people, let's admit it. Dark sense of humor isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
it's not it's not condemnable. It's just now if you're saying that it'd be funny if everyone got lit on fire, eh, but if you say it like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if just something happened where something just caused all these people to panic? Like
Yeah.
sometimes that could be read a hell of a lot funnier than you'd think. But
Yeah.
just how this guy delivered his tones and all that, and how he just perceived everything as like, I'm not here to be the best. I'm just the best because at the time I was.
Yeah.
And he's and then he goes and does these things like the Great Potato War he does. He shows him sitting in a store on Skyblock purchasing ice for 40 minutes. He's like, I'm having fun. I dropped out of college for this. I'm like, God. And I'm like, this is brilliant writing. This is like the most brilliant thing this guy ever came up with.
Yeah.
And then I started watching the Dream SMP and the whole thing with L'Manberg and all that other stuff. And his character is just brilliant.
Yeah.
It's this guy who's like, hey, do you need someone to come in because your government's gone crazy? I'm this guy I'm a radical that can take down the government. Why
Oh
not?
God.
Like,
Yeah.
and they bring him in, and all he does is in the background, he's like, they leave him for 40 hours or 14 hours or something. And he's like, hey, so what have you been doing? He's like, well, I did all this. And they're like, dude, did you even go to sleep? He's like, I've been here since I got on. And they're like, but that would be like 14 hours. He's like, I had a lot to do. And he's got like 3 farms, an entire cavern cut out, a place for storage. This guy is a machine. It's just so with that one, I'm like, I'm watching it, and then I'm trying to keep a finger on the pulse of his cancer and all that. I'm like, we haven't heard much from him. I hope it hasn't happened. No one's reported that it's happened.
Yeah.
Hope he's okay. And then it pops up. He's like, hey, um, so I went in and they almost thought they had to amputate my arm. And I'm like, oh, thank God he's okay at least.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so he's going to start coming back. And all that. And then July came around and I was on a trip with my parents to go to 4th of July because they needed someone to keep the kids from getting blown up. And yeah. Yeah, let's all go to Kansas where safety is not a thing. But so I'm sitting there, I am wearing my red Technoblade shirt, and I get out of the car and on my phone an alert comes up on YouTube and it says Technoblade channel. And I'm like, oh, Technoblade made something new. And unfortunately, it shows his father walk out onto a soundstage, and he's like, Technoblade has passed away. And I'm like, oh, damn,
Mm-hmm.
damn. And I was sitting there in the car, and I just started typing on Facebook. I'm like, hey, kind of a bummer of a day. Technoblade passed away, and it didn't rhyme like that, but hey. But as soon as we got to our next stop, my brother's like, dude, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah, it's just a bit of a shock. And my mom's like, oh, you okay? Is everything? I'm like, he's a young man who just brought a lot of good into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And everything he did you hear what his dad said. He's like, was able to earn enough money for all of his siblings to go to college if they so choose. He raised money for cancer. He encouraged young YouTubers like Tommy Innit to get out there and expose themselves and get higher reviews and all the other stuff. He was recognized by one of the biggest Minecraft YouTubers, Dream, and brought into the spotlight that way.
Yeah.
It is an amazing story.
Mm-hmm.
And now his dad has his own channel, Gaming with Techno Dad, which all of his friends bring him in to play Minecraft or stuff like that. This is a guy who's probably pushing in his 60s or maybe 70s,
Mm-hmm.
and he could be younger. I don't know. But yeah, he's learning all these games from Techno's friends, which is, I
Awesome.
think, the coolest thing ever. And to me, seeing it not only has it inspired me to do a Technoblade cosplay, but I also want to start doing a what you would probably call a talking stream, which would be I want to try to start up a Twitch stream
Mm-hmm.
where I go in and I just start playing games. I'm like, hey, if you guys have a topic you want to talk about, or just remember not to hit these points, but this is what I've been looking at for the last month. So this is what I'll talk about, and if you have any questions, I'll try to answer it. But we're also going to be in Conan Exiles today, trying to defeat a dragon. So,
Yeah.
uh, but so it's inspired me to do a lot,
Yeah.
and it just goes to show you don't have to be this person who's out there throwing money everywhere or saying, look at me, look what I'm doing to advance the world, stuff like that. You could just
Mm-hmm.
be some guy on your computer playing Minecraft
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, throw a few bucks towards cancer research, throw a few bucks towards this. Hey, you're giving me money. Guess where it's going? I'm giving it to my siblings to go to college. I
Yeah.
dropped out of college because I'm good at this, but I want them to have a good education. So, yeah. So that hit me the hardest, I
Yeah.
think. And then uh, I help my wife out with her stuff too. So she's also kind of my inspiration to keep doing it because she uh, knows that it's something that allows me to be the person that I am. And because, hell, nerds being completely no outlet whatsoever, it's hard. It is
Mm-hmm.
hard.
Yeah.
And with the world now being more accepting of geeks and nerds and stuff like that, it's kind of like people are like, this stuff exists, and they're like, yeah, we've been here this whole time. You just had to stop having, well, for lack of better words, stop having your head up your ass and thinking you're
Mm-hmm.
better than everyone just to see we're actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, so, but then also this stuff kind of encouraged me to start doing other things like I do. I'm a dungeon master now. I
Mm-hmm.
play D&D. I do all this other stuff. So it's cosplay in itself not only inspires me to keep doing it, but inspires me to do other things
Mm-hmm.
and meet new people and do things you normally wouldn't do. One of the best things I think that ever happens when I do cosplay is when I'm dressed as like Master Chief or in a Mandalorian outfit, and some little kid, probably as big as my knee, comes running up to me dressed exactly like I am and is just awestruck at what they're seeing. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, all I can do is just stand there and just be like, well, I made this kid's day apparently. So it's quite a feeling. So, but yeah, so that's a bit of a ramble on that one, but
No, you're fine.
yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah,
Uh,
I feel sorry for your editor.
we don't have editors. We just have people who go through and make YouTube shorts. We don't have editors.
Yeah.
This just goes.
Ah.
Um, but yeah, I just wanted to point out the fact of how expensive cosplay can be because as I showed,
Yes.
I do cosplay Mr. Ark here, and I
Yes.
have his armor up there,
Yes.
and I'm actually getting his rusted knight armor made.
I was just about to ask that. Way
Yep.
to go.
Uh, yeah. So to give you context for pricing, I spent like 120 for Jean's original armor, or for his
Uh-huh.
volume 7, 8, end of 9 armor.
Yeah, yeah.
For the sword and shield, like this is like I can swing this and probably not hit a wall, but like it. I've been swinging this as hard as I can, and this thing,
Mhm.
it's sturdy.
It's sturdy.
I got this and the shield for 400 or 500.
Ooh.
Yeah, it puts a dent in the wallet, but like they're it's sturdy as
Oh
hell
yeah.
for being foam,
Yeah.
primarily foam with a core in it.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
but for the rusted knight, his whole armor is gonna cost me $1,200.
All for crow stuff because most of it's soft.
Yeah,
Uh, and this is including Harbinger. Uh, Probably put me around $700 to $800.
yeah,
Um, Harbinger itself was about $100, and it's a foam core, so I would never fully swing and impact with it.
yeah,
I can do some stuff with it, but it's not a what I call an active prop in the sense of you can do a little with it, but an active prop you could do full swings, you could do like routines with it. That's not what my Harbinger is. My Harbinger is not an active prop. It is a semi-active or pretty much a majoritarily passive prop. So
yeah.
if you're going to try to come at me and do a swing and expect me to block with it, nah, you're just going to be hitting me, bro. And I'm just going to be like, you're a moron.
Like I don't feel like if I wanted to damage this, I could swing it into a wall. But like I've swung this thing as hard as I can, like in the air and stuff, and it's still as good as the day I got it.
Yeah, and the thing about my Harbinger is that I could probably do that, but
Yeah,
it's so unbalanced.
yeah.
Uh,
Well,
it is
scythes in
heavily
general.
unbalanced, and it is so it's very difficult for me to do anything with it unless I got into something and really wanted to show it off. I'd really have to like practice with it to get it to a level where I'm comfortable with the imbalance. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
get that.
yeah. So, and I would say I've actually asked my buddy who helps build my armors. I did a pricing for his work and the stuff he does. I would say it would probably be about $1,000 per Spartan suit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the helmets themselves because we 3D print the helmets now. We have a guy who 3D prints the helmets for us. It's about $80 a helmet.
Yeah,
Um, and for parts that I've had done for my Mando armor, it's been anywhere about $60 for components being printed.
mm-hmm.
These helmets are about $70. This new helmet was 80. The visors themselves are about 15, $20
Yeah,
when you do that. So I would probably say buy a welder's visor for like $5 and use that. But I like nice thick visors because I feel
yeah,
comfortable in my armor.
yeah. I get
Um,
that.
yeah, my whole new Mando now is probably bordering around $300
Mm-hmm.
for all the like soft components and stuff like that, and the new boots I got for it and other stuff. And for the Sintra and the shaping and the skill that would go into it, I would say a Mando could probably cost around from just being built from the ground up. I'd say with the people building it, you'd probably be looking about $600, and that's including the person's skill set
Yeah,
for it. So, yeah.
yeah. I've seen prices for suits in general can go from like 1,200, $6,000, stuff like
Oh yeah.
that. Because like I've also been looking into like getting ones for Common Rider, which is basically
Yeah. I need to connect you with my armorer because he is a huge Common Rider fan.
yeah, because this is one of the swords from Common Rider,
My
and
buddy
I
has
would
all of
love.
like the little balls that go in the belts,
Oh yeah,
and he has like some of the specialty belts and all that stuff. Like,
yeah. I have belts there. I have stuff for the belts there. I have some. I have that whole little chest of drawers right there are just filled with Kamen Rider belts. And also there's also a
he
Tommy Morpher as well. But
nice. He his personal favorite is Ghost, I believe,
oh
the black
yeah,
one. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that's his personal favorite. And I had his helmet made for $80. Yep, that's it. He has that one. Uh, it's actually a game. Whenever I go over his house, he has a pail full of those,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm like, "Which one will I pick today?" And I picked one up last time. I'm like, "I picked the Christmas one."
I picked the Christmas one. Yes.
And it's like, I'm like, he's like, "You serious?" I'm like, "It has a Christmas tree on it and jingle bells." He's like, "Wow, way to go!"
Because like I do actually have a very similar setup for a lot of the items that go in the belts, all like in one drawer.
Nice.
So I have a very similar setup to that. Be like, hey, what am I gonna grab out today? Well,
And the funny thing is that he told me, I'm like, so is this thing new? Well, I know Kamen Rider's been around a long time. A long,
1971.
yes. And I'm like, so how long has this stuff, has the merchandise been? He's like, oh, it's been around since the show. I'm like, so wait a minute. You're telling me that this belt with new stuff coming out is still being able to be used with the new stuff?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they planned it perfectly for that. I'm like, what? How? It's
Yeah.
like usually, I mean, Cyban, the people who made the American Power
Yeah.
Rangers, everything would change by the year and the system and everything else.
Yeah.
So nothing would be
Exactly.
able to be integrated with each other. But this Kamen Rider thing, since the 70s, is still the same thing.
Yeah, because like this actually came out like last year, and it goes in a belt that came out in 2016. 2016, I think. So, or 2017? No, 2017, 18, something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head.
We're in the teens.
The late teens, yeah. And
like
this just came out like last year and stuff like that, and it goes with that belt and everything.
Yeah.
But that one has the advantage of the belt itself doesn't make the sounds; these do.
Right.
So they can just keep producing these as long as they want.
That's great. That's an amazing merchandise plan.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's
man.
genius. Other companies should really take on to that. Just make stuff that lasts forever and just integrate everything to that model. It'd just be amazing.
100%. Or like the example for this sword, there's actually an official one. So like it has all the lights and sounds in it and everything.
Nice.
But like it doesn't work with any of the gimmicks for the season though. It's all just one button. You can fake it. You can fake it till you make it, but it's just buttons with that thing. But
that's just the motto of my generation. Fake it till you make it, man.
Yeah.
Millennials rule.
Yeah. But now to get on to the final 4 questions. So this interview doesn't become 3 hours long. I'm just going to go to the final four questions now. So first is, do you have any questions for me as an individual or about the show in general?
Well, here's the thing. How did you find me? Because that's the thing. I'm not a big name. I'm not. I don't even have like an official like Instagram in the sense of my cosplay name is not on there. It's all just done through my name. I am very curious as to how you found me and what inspired you to even interview me. Because I'm a person that's like, because I mean, let's just be honest. When I messaged you back, my reply was, "You sure you got the right person?"
I think it was something like that, yeah.
But, it was. I mean, heck, I can even look it up right now.
Yeah, so can I. We can both just look at it right now. Be like, yeah, it's right there.
Let's take a look. Dude.
What kind of interview? I'm not famous or anything.
Oh, wait, here we go. Hang on. Hello, I'm Springy. I'm like, what kind of interview? I'm not famous or anything.
Yeah. So I actually found you because my friend Jen suggested you.
Jen Mouse. I love Jen Mouse. Jen Mouse, she is a delight. I actually work with her on a project. So yeah.
Yes, Jen. She's actually the one who's editing, or not editing. She's the one who makes the shorts for me and everything.
So she's gonna love this.
Yeah. So she suggested me to you. And
nice.
We were, at the time when I first messaged you, we have things called character interviews, which I lightly touched on. We were actually looking for a crow, but I messaged 2 crows at the same time.
Okay.
So, first come, first serve to that. But, yeah, and... Okay, sorry, that my brain got confused for a second. But... Okay. That was actually the second that the first reason was because Jen suggested you because but it was really and I take all suggestions as long as they don't look like they're about to be something weird, weird in a bad way, because we've had people where like they aren't like I've people suggested people to us and we're like. they're not cosplayers. They don't really make their own characters. It's just a dude showing off his abs, and I regret that episode sometimes. Because, like, like the people on TikTok where it's like they're not dressing up, they're just like, look at my abs.
Yes, look at me.
I am the perfect specimen.
Instagram eye candy. Yep.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, that's where I found you, and B, sent message.
Okay.
How I found you in the first place.
I was very flattered, and then of course I'm like, wait a minute, I better look into this.
Yeah.
So, been burned before. So.
I feel that. I do feel that.
Oh, and I'm also going to say this right now, folks. If you go on Instagram and you see someone that has abs and pecs that are way too much to believe, don't believe it, because they actually make castings of pectorals and abs now. So I'm going to blow the secret of Instagram, folks. A lot of these people buy those.
Yeah, and I know that
they buy those, then they use them like they're their own. They actually do like huge makeup sessions to actually blend it in properly. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of them. If you see JoJo characters out there, probably girls too. So nothing against it. More power to them if they're doing it.
Yeah,
but I'm going to tell you, don't expect that you found the perfect JoJo, because it's probably this one girl who's like, I can pull off this character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, I was about to say, because like those are the only times I actually ever see those being used from my 185 people that I've seen, where like it's mainly people with more female-esque bodies.
Yes.
Trying to be this more masculine shaped character quickly. So it's not just like a back and forth of like of diet and exercise and craziness and crying. Like 1 minute you're doing one thing, 1 minute you're doing another. Wait, hold on.
Yes.
Oh, okay, no, that was just I got distracted because I thought one of my favorite things got broken, and it did not. That's just something I didn't notice on it before.
DDD, gotta love it.
Yeah, but do you have any other questions for me as an individual about the show in general?
No. I mean, I was actually, right after we settled everything and set up the time, I went on Facebook and I said, so apparently I'm being interviewed for being a cosplayer. Like, don't know how that happened. I know there's a lot of people in the cosplay community around here because, let's not kid ourselves. There are people in the cosplay community who I like to call cos snobs, which are people who think they're better than everyone, and people who think that there are some people who should not be associated with cosplay. Number one, for all those out there, which I'm never going to name names because I'm a very respectful person, I don't believe that people need to have a whole army sent after them to prove a point.
I agree.
All you people out there who are cos snobs, you know who you are. If you don't know who you are, look in a mirror eventually, because you're going to need to learn that you're going to have to get cut down to size every once in a while. But I'm going to say, your talent is amazing. Don't let it go to your head. Because there's someone out there that's going to be better than you, and the person that you put down may end up being that person that's better than you. So, be respectful, and don't be a jerk about shit.
Don't be a jerk. It's Christmas. But yeah.
But no, when I did that, I think the quote I said was, I'm sure myself and a few other cosplayers in the community, which my joke to that is that I meant cos snobs would be like, why in the world would they interview this guy?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, and if I did have a cos snob ever message me and say, why did you get interviewed? I'd be like, oh, maybe I'm better than you.
We'll get to it. That actually kind of leads me into my next question, talking about do you have any suggestions for a future guest to be on to the show?
There is one person, I don't know how his availability will work, because he is going through that part of life where he's improving himself, in the sense of he is a brilliant cosplayer, he works 2 jobs, and he is going back to school to become a medical EMT. So
it's that type of time scheduling.
Yes, but he is a brilliant young man, and he is the person who got me into cosplay, and more heavily into cosplay, and actually is the man behind my armors and a lot of my inspiration. Uh, I paint weapons for him. I play D&D with him. I dungeon master for him.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Raphael Richards. Uh, it's not spelled like the ancient painter. It's spelled Rafael,
Cool.
and but it's pronounced like Raphael the Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
And he's on Facebook. I believe his Insta is like Cyclone of the Wind. I believe he's a very kind of name user, but very nice guy, very awesome.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see.
Yeah, and you can always send me their stuff later on
Yes,
as well,
I'll do
so to
that
make
later
sure
on.
it's
Yeah,
spelt
I'll do
and
that later on.
you
But
know.
he is a person that I believe deserves a lot more. Uh, he deserves to be spotlighted a few times because he is a very tolerant person. He is a very accepting person, and of course, everyone has people that have gripes with him. But despite all the people I've met who've had a gripe or something, well, they could be. There's a person out there probably has a gripe with me. I don't know why. I'm usually a genuinely nice person. They could have caught me on the one day that I say one thing that doesn't sound right, and then I'm the most
Great.
evil person in the world.
Dude,
Uh,
I'm right there with you. I've had the person who tried to cancel me. Did that was that exact thing.
yeah. So
Didn't
here's
work.
another thing, kids and people out there. Hear someone out first before you make a quick snap judgment on things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's okay to be insulted by something, but approach a person in a very respectful manner and say, "Hey, why'd you say this? Because to me, it came off like this and was very insulting. I'd really like to know where that was coming from. And if you could explain it to me, I'd appreciate it." And that's when people who are adults and or mature
Mm-hmm.
will then say, "Oh, well, I'm sorry you took it that way. That was actually coming from this, this, or this." Or they'll be a big jackass and go, "I don't give a damn what you think. If your feelings are hurt, fuck off." That's when you can start going and canceling people. But I do have a policy on that where I'm just like, look, if you don't like something I do, I'm not directing anything I do to personally hurt you.
Yeah.
Usually I'm doing stuff because it's just the way I am.
Yeah.
If it's insulting, sit me down, explain me to it why it's insulting. Don't yell at me. Don't
Yeah.
try to turn everyone against me about it. Tell me why it's insulting. Explain to me maturely and calmly why something upsets you.
Yeah.
And you know what I will do? I will say, okay, I'm going to tell you, in my generation, when I grew up, that wasn't a prevalent thing. That
Yeah.
wasn't a thing that was around. We weren't aware of that. So we would do these jokes and stuff where we are a bit harsh about stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not us trying to make the person feel terrible. It was just us joking around.
Yeah.
So if you feel insulted by that, I'm sorry, but I want you to understand my humor is like that because that's how we dealt with stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't have I wish we did, but we didn't have safe spaces. We were very kind of guarded in the sense of, oh, if we talk to mommy and daddy about this, they might get upset or they might ask us a million questions as to why we're like this. It's and I'm going to tell you, I have very open parents. My parents are very caring, very loving. I could come to them with anything.
Yeah.
But my mindset at the time when I was growing up was, can I really talk to mom and dad about this? And of course, now being 35, I can talk to my parents about anything.
Yeah.
So talk to your parents, kids.
Yes.
They are there to help you. They love you. They do. If they don't, you have horrible parents, and you need to get a better family, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
Yeah. I
we
agree.
still have about 2 questions left, I think.
Yes. So the next one is going to be: would you ever like to return to the show in the future for either another interview like this or in a different project?
I would love to return for anything you got, honestly. I'm just gonna let you know this is the setup I'm working with. So,
That's
um,
look at
and
mine. I mean,
yeah, I'm just gonna say right now, folks, you missed a hilarious moment. Which, if we can reenact it at a later
panic.
date, would be hilarious. Because there is something before these that I've learned called the technical 10 minutes, which is where you get everything set up and you get everything up and running and all that, and then you start recording.
Yep.
I wish we had been recording in the technical 10 minutes, because
Yes.
what happened was we are on Discord right now.
Yep.
Ooh, the magic's broken.
Oh no.
And my friend who's over here, according to their camera,
Yeah.
comes on, and I had already done a test with Jin, who is the delightful person who works with this person and me. And
Oh.
I'd done a mic test, a video test, everything. Everything was working good. I was getting audio feed, everything. I immediately start with this. I come in. I don't hear them. I see them talking. I'm panicking. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? I'm like, can you hear me? And I see mouth movement. I'm like, okay, I can't hear you. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
So for 10 minutes, they can hear me,
Yep.
and I start typing. So we're turning off our cameras, turning on our cameras, turning off the mics, on the mics,
Yeah.
starting, stopping. And then I go in, and they bring me to this interview room that we're in now, this channel.
Yeah.
And I go in, click their stuff, and they are muted on my channel. And I'm like, how? I just met them.
Oh god.
So we're yelling at each other like, how's this going to work? How's this going to work?
Yeah.
And I was about to say, well, you can type me the questions and I can answer them, but the dynamic's going to be like 8-10 news. And like,
There's gonna be a slight
so,
delay.
and then finally I'm like, wait, hang on, click. I'm like, apparently you were muted. And I'm like, how? So that was our panic 10 minutes. So
yeah, that was a fun 10 minutes. That set the mood real good
yes,
for this.
yes.
Oh
So,
god, yeah.
but yes, I would love to come back. I'm doing a lot of stuff right now where, like I said, I'm trying to get a Twitch. I know there's going to be people in comments going a month from now when this thing comes out. Ooh, broke the magic again.
Yeah, it comes out exactly a month from today. Yeah.
Yes.
After this
What was
recording.
that again? Anyway, so I know tons of people are like, you just go on Twitch and make an account, yada yada. I need you to understand something. I have a job.
Yeah.
This is not my job. This is a hobby.
Yep.
Professional cosplay can be a job and it can be a hobby.
Yep.
Don't cancel me on that. I also work a full-time job as a quality control person for a company that builds medical equipment. That's kind of important. So that is my funding for these. So and then when I come home from that job, I'm tired. So once I get myself set up, it'll just be a matter of me going on the Twitch, turning it on, and then just sitting there and playing video games.
Yeah.
That's it. But I just need time. So
Yeah.
that's how it's working. Anyway, and we have one more question?
Yep. And it is, do you have any questions for a future guest?
Oh, let's see. Gosh, if it was going to be Raph, I would have a question for him, but he'd kill me if I did, because there's an inside joke between us that I told him I'd never do again. But I would probably say, if he was to get on here, my question to him would be, who is from people you work with, who is your favorite person to work with? Which
why is it me?
I don't think he'd answer me. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings if he said someone else.
Yeah.
But jokingly, I would, and you can even say this is from associate of yours, Lucas Hawk.
Yeah.
He apparently works with you. He's like, "Who is your favorite model?" And he'd probably be like, "Well, not him now." But no, I think for me would be, for anyone, what is something that you have found? What is something that you have found inspirational from what you do? And because, like I said, for me, doing cosplay is a way to not only express myself, but to show kids their heroes, to bring a bit of life to a character that they never thought they'd see in their life, to be there to inspire people, to be there to bring hope to people. Because I don't, the people in the 501st and the Man No Mercs and stuff like that, which, like I said, I'm not a part of as of yet or anything, but
Yeah.
they go around the hospitals and stuff like that, and they're getting non-responsive kids to actually smile and laugh and stuff like that. They're getting children who are told that you may never walk again to get up on walkers and come and see them and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing thing, and seeing kids uh, and stuff like that is just touches your heart in
Mm-hmm.
ways that you just never thought you'd experience. And I'm gonna say right now, I am a person that's not afraid to cry at certain moments. And there have been plenty
Yeah.
of times where I have been I was brought to a lady who was in a wheelchair, and I was in full Halo armor, and she was a huge Halo nut, and it was her birthday. And I went over and I held her hand while they sang happy birthday and stuff like that. And she's like, it's really it she's like, it's really made my day to have you come over here and sit with me while people sing me happy birthday. It's and under my helmet, I'm like, oh gosh, why are you telling me this? This is I'm just and I've after that I took my helmet off and walked away. And of course, people who were my handlers and stuff like that were like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I just need a minute.
I
I
just
didn't
need a
really think I'd
minute.
have. I didn't think I'd have that kind of moment." And uh, it's okay to cry, people. It
Yeah,
is.
it is.
I'm telling you right now. If you want a good reason to cry, go watch Owl House. Every season I cry, and yeah, there's a lot of my life in that show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but
Ugh.
no, I would say what is like what is a moment that you were proud of from like cosplay or any type of creative thing you do that has said, yeah, you've made a difference or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's cross the spectrum because some people can answer like, oh, I haven't had that yet. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
then it's something to
Look
see.
forward
Maybe
to.
it will happen next time. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's no shame in having that as an answer. Because I've been around, like I said, I've been on this earth 35 years. I think the first time I had a moment like that was back when I was about 23, 24 years old. That's a long time between cradle to the grave
Mm-hmm.
that it took me to have that moment. So you could be having it right now. You could be having it in a year from now. You could be having it when you're 70 years old. There's no shame in that.
Yeah.
It's not something everyone wants to aspire to anyway.
Yeah.
So there's no shame in it. But I just kind of curious about that to see if other people have had these moments and if they haven't. And
Yeah.
if they haven't, well, that just
One day.
probably hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Or it's just not in their cards. Who knows?
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah.
Well, with that very bright and cheery note, thank you so much for being on the show. I do highly
It was a
appreciate it.
pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow our lovely guests on all the social media platforms. And at least I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye.